Spoiler warning, bosses in video games. When you yourself find yourself coming up against a Dodo boss, a foe that will no doubt test your every skill, pushing you to your utter limits in a true test of not only ability, but also endurance too. What do you imagine is beyond that door? Certainly not this fucking thing. There are many types of bosses in video games, and it's hard to simply label one boss better than the other due to how many factors go into making a good boss. So with this video, I aim to go through many types of bosses to find what makes a good boss and hopefully fix some games that I think had insane potential for amazing bosses and dropped the fucking ball. And you may ask, why? Why am I doing any of this? There are 5 main types of bosses I would like to explore. Number 1, and coincidentally my favorite. These bosses are always the coolest, and it's no debate. I'm right, you're wrong. Some have 18-year-long build-ups, some have no build-up, no explanation, and are infinitely better for it, while some have sexy Yuri, ah yes, women. This type of boss consists of 3 core concepts that define it. Number 1, the boss will always have some sort of ties to the protagonist. Dante is Virgin's twin brother.
There's no pizza to eat.
You could eat me.
John is Bayonet's lover, and V1 and V2 send each other funny 1s and 0s that translate into slurs mid-battle. Which side are you on? V1 or V2? What makes these fights so engaging is that no matter when, where, or what part of the fight you're in, it's always absolute cinema. For example, when I fight Virgil for the 289th time in DMC5, I still don't find it boring because if I let my guard down for even a second, he'll rip some bullshit from my moveset like Sin Devil Trigger and use it to beat me across the head, right back to the checkpoint button for the 290th time fighting Virgil. 2. These bosses are always telegraphed by related yet contrasting color schemes. Like blue and red, obviously, Sonic and Shadow did it first, an idea that Jesus and Satan would shamelessly steal negative 2003 years ago. And 3. These bosses are always a pivotal moment in the protagonist's journey where they need to prove themselves against greater odds, where the boss is not only their equal, but might even be stronger. So what differentiates these bosses from being good or bad? Well, let's compare a good and bad version of these fights to see what I'm talking about. Dante and Virgil are 2 semi-long lost twin brothers that have spent the good part of like 50 years fighting, fucking, and honing their skills across 5 games. So it's no surprise that when you see that the final and second final mission is the epitome of everything that's built up throughout the last 18 real-life years, coming to a crescendo in an intense 8 to 20 minute 1v1 where you get to unleash everything on Virgil with an actually fun control scheme. I mean, it's just perfect. It nails the plot, it nails the gameplay, and the only thing it doesn't nail is me, sadly. However, Sonic and Shadow not only had all the time in the world for the emotional and gameplay build-up, Sega decided that they wanted a 5-second button masher fight, a 2-minute button masher fight, and a 3 to 5 minute boost masher fight. Like, what the fuck? Here's an idea I came up with in the bar. Working within the controls of Sonic Adventure 2, let's tweak the first Shadow fight to make it a better rival battle. Almost everything about this fight is fine, beside the god-awful gameplay, so that's the only thing that I believe needs to be changed. Firstly, Sonic and Shadow are speedsters, so they will be racing to an objective. Let's say they're both going for a Chaos Emerald in Green Forest. It makes sense contextually, and I think it's cool. Now make it so that Sonic and Shadow have different, close together, intertwining raceways in order to facilitate the dark story where you play as Shadow. Now make it so that Sonic and Shadow can jump between the tracks and do the homing attack to each other, just like in the original fight. I understand this isn't quite to the level of a DMC rival battle, but for a multimedia mega mascot like Sonic the Hedgehog, they really should have done better. Rival battles are a testament to the rule of cool, and will always have a lovely place in my sardined heart. However, now it's time to move over to a more grandiose type of boss. Shifting from each boss to the next, I'd like to not repeat games I've already used or talked about. Therefore, I'm going to be using the best example of a certain boss from each game that I pick. For example, I believe that DMC5 has the best rival battles. No Metal Gear Rising Revengeance Sam is not a good rival battle, and I will die on that hill. So I cannot use DMC5 for the rest of the video now. David vs Goliath. Davids versus Goliaths. Can you tell I made these classifications by myself? Are a type of boss where the protagonist or player is faced against just a giant fucking thing.
So do you guys like? So do three of you guys like feet?
Tout près François. Je
Oh,
m'appelle.
you guys like feet? That's amazing.
Why are you black? Or why are you smiling? Stop! Stop smiling!
There's also a. Okay. Stop harassing the player.
Bruh.
From a gigantic Shadow of the Colossus to a vampire dom with a fat ass. These types of bosses are defined by the large, intimidating, fat stature compared to the player, and the insurmountable odds that the player seemingly needs to overcome, even if the boss is just Egg Golem.
Say that again?
Hey everyone, Zinc here. Today we're going to be exploring two shit/great examples of David vs. Goliath fights in games, and what makes them tick. Firstly, the Persona 5 Yaldabaoth fight. As you're probably aware, Person 5 is an action roguelike liminal space adventure where, after 80 hours of the child dating simulator, the game asks you to fight God so you can unlock another 20 hours of child dating. What makes this fight suck due to ass cheeks is that I don't feel threatened because, number one, the game on every difficulty is way too easy, including a Kumura and the final boss. Yaldabaoth has only just been introduced, so when I use my overleveled party and whip out literal Satan to one-shot the boss, I feel nothing but boredom and disappointment. On the contrary, the Resident Evil Chad Mr. X from Resident Evil is not quite a Goliath in comparison to Leon's frail twink body.
Bingo?
Mr. X haunts you throughout the game, surprising you at every turn to try and take advantage of your r/atheism eugenics post to try and get you cancelled. However, once the game finally, at the very end, hands you a giant rocket launcher to blow him up, while he uses every last ounce of strength to fight you, it truly feels like an awesome climactic David vs. Goliath fight against all odds. Whoa! Sorry guys, I just passed out for 40 seconds. If I was to improve Persona's Yaldabaoth fight, there's really only one choice that I have. Firstly, he needs to be introduced far earlier on. All of the characters in Persona 5 act like it's their arch nemesis that they've been hunting for years on end.
Let me prove it.
However, to me, it seems like the developers are just slowly power scaling the villains bit by bit, starting from a pedophile and ending on something even worse. A politician. And as they were power scaling, they looked back at the last Persona games and realized, oh shit, we needed some sort of overcomplicated god fight. To me it feels like the only real final boss could be Maruki from the Royal DLC, and it would have been 50 times better than the original final boss. Because not only is his palace the best one, but he also has by far the best boss, gameplay and story-wise. If you disagree with me, let me know how I'm wrong in the comments, so I can, Have you ever loaded up a level and seen the utter scope and beauty of the stage alone, and been wowed beyond belief? Probably not, you AAA yearly release dirtbag. So let me enlighten you with a real game. Spark the Electric Jester 1 through 3 is a series of 1 2D and 2 3D action platformer / character action mega marvelous testaments to the efforts of the individual. Lake Vepid has created 3 genuine masterpieces, but how much I love this sexy bearded man is neither here nor there, as I wish to discuss this level, aptly titled Titanic Tower, because from the moment I stepped foot in this level, it was seared into my head just how fucking cool the whole thing was. Keep in mind, up until this point, Spark has been a primarily A to B horizontal objective adventure. And now it's saying, I'm bored, let's go up instead. And that's why I consider the stage alone to be a boss, because you're constantly fighting against not only the enemies in the stage, but the stage too. And it doesn't feel like a holy shit, why is this game AIDS to play kind of fighting against the stage, but it feels like a holy shit, I am gaming kind of way type shit. What? You thought I was going to bring up a shit one for comparison? Oh, hell no! You just got to hear me yap about my favorite game series. Get baited. But before you click off, I'm going to discuss the worst kind of bosses possible. Statue. This can also extend to wealth checks if you're playing a gacha game, which I'm very well versed in. Which brings me to our sponsor, Uma Musume, the hit new horse girl. There's typically great combat, fun and engaging systems that are squandered under the utter filth surrounding it. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments. The TLDR is that this kind of boss is not fun at all, and all I'm doing is throwing two pieces of shit at each other and seeing which one has bigger chunks of corn in it. And this is why, from the disgustingly easy bosses of gacha games like Genshin Impact to the utter piss take that is the Velvet Room fights in Persona 4 and 5, I despise this kind of boss fight. Just a reminder that I will be devouring a shoe at 1,000 subscribers, and if I were you, Kevin, I would definitely want to see me die of choking, so get onto that now. There was two more kinds of boss fights that I wanted to discuss, but then I kind of realized that I don't have a great deal of experience with them. And although I could sit here and spew a bunch of bullshit, non-substantial opinions to you and waste your time, but I will not be doing that because I value my lovely fans. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you want, and leave a like if you like, or a dislike if you dislike. And I'll see you in another 3 months. By the way, guys, I fucking suck at making YouTube videos, so please leave feedback in the comments so that I may improve. Bye!